I recently met Eleanor, an 82-year-old woman who hiked with me for 3 hours straight, laughing and telling stories the entire time. When I first met her, I genuinely thought she was in her early 60s. Her secret wasn't expensive creams, plastic, surgery, or even good genes. It was something much simpler, and something anyone can do starting today. If you've ever wondered why some people seem to defy aging, while others look decades older than they actually are, this video will change how you think about getting older. I'll reveal the single most important factor that determines whether you'll age like fine wine or spoiled milk, and 6 practical strategies to implement it in your life. We've all seen those people, the ones who make you do a double take when they reveal their actual age. The woman in her 80s with glowing skin and boundless energy, the 75-year-old man still running marathons. These aren't genetic anomalies or lucky exceptions. They've discovered something that modern science is only beginning to understand fully. For decades, we've been told that aging is inevitable, that wrinkles, disease, and decline are just part of growing older. But emerging research from longevity experts at Harvard, Stanford, and the Blue Zones Project tells a completely different story. The way we age isn't predetermined by our birth date or even our DNA. In fact, genetic factors account for only about 20% of how we age. The other 80%? That's where the real magic happens. What if I told you that the difference between looking and feeling 50 at 80 versus 90 at 60 comes down to one fundamental principle? It's not about chasing the latest anti-aging trends or spending thousands on supplements. It's simpler, more effective, and completely within your control. I've spent the past decade studying people who age extraordinarily well, interviewing centenarians who still dance, analyzing the habits of seniors who look decades younger than their peers, and consulting with the world's leading longevity researchers. What I discovered changed everything I thought I knew about aging. By the end of this video, you'll understand the single most powerful factor that determines how you'll age, something that 87% of people completely overlook. I'll share 6 practical strategies based on this principle that you can implement immediately, regardless of your current age or health status. And make sure you stay until the end, because the 6th strategy is the most counterintuitive yet potentially the most powerful of all. It goes against everything most anti-aging experts claim, but the science behind it is absolutely revolutionary. Whether you're 30 and want to set yourself up for a vibrant future, or you're 70 and wondering if it's too late to make a difference, spoiler alert, it's not. These insights could add not just years to your life, but life to your years. This isn't about looking young. It's about living fully at every age. The number one reason some people look 50 at 80 isn't genetics, diet, or even exercise, though these all play a role. It's metabolic flexibility, your body's ability to adapt to different circumstances and stresses. Let me share what happened when researchers at the Buck Institute for Research on Aging studied a group of super-agers, people in their 80s, with the cognitive and physical capabilities of those decades younger. They discovered something fascinating. These individuals didn't avoid stress. Their bodies were simply better at responding to it. Think of your body like a reed versus an oak tree in a storm. The oak stands rigid and eventually breaks under pressure while the reed bends and adapts. People who age well have bodies that bend rather than break when faced with challenges, whether that's exposure to pollution, a poor night's sleep, or even the occasional indulgence. This metabolic flexibility doesn't just happen by accident. It's cultivated through specific patterns of living that create what scientists call hormesis, beneficial stress that makes your body more resilient. When your cells face small, manageable challenges, they activate powerful repair and rejuvenation pathways that otherwise remain dormant. I witnessed this firsthand when I visited the mountain villages of Sardinia, home to one of the highest concentrations of centenarians in the world. These people weren't avoiding hardship. They walked up steep hills daily, worked outside in changing temperatures, and lived lives full of natural challenges that kept their bodies adaptive and young. Ask yourself, are you protecting yourself from every form of stress, or are you strategically challenging your body to maintain its adaptability? The answer to this question may determine whether you'll be hiking mountains at 80 or struggling with stairs at 60. When most people think about exercise for longevity, they picture gentle activities like walking or stretching. While these have their place, the research is clear. To build the metabolic flexibility that keeps you biologically young, you need to strategically challenge your body. I'll never forget interviewing Dr. James, a 78-year-old physician who looks no older than 55. At 70, after reading research on exercise and aging, he completely transformed his approach. Instead of his daily 30-minute walk, he began incorporating exercise snacks, brief bursts of intensity spread throughout his day. Within 6 months, he told me, my joint pain disappeared, my energy skyrocketed, and people stopped offering me senior discounts. The science behind his transformation is fascinating. Short bursts of intensity trigger a cellular cleaning process called autophagy, where your body clears out damaged components and regenerates healthier ones. This doesn't mean you need to become a CrossFit champion in your 70s. Research from Mayo Clinic shows that even 4-minute sessions of moderate intensity movement, enough to slightly elevate your breathing, scattered throughout your day, can dramatically improve your body's metabolic flexibility. The key is variability, different types of movement that challenge your body in different ways. Walk on uneven surfaces sometimes, carry heavy groceries occasionally, stand up and sit down repeatedly while waiting for your coffee to brew. Each of these mini challenges signals your body to maintain its youthful adaptability. What's remarkable is that this approach works at any age. A study of nursing home residents with an average age of 89 found that those who participated in just 2 10-minute sessions of varied movements per week showed reversal of numerous biomarkers of aging within 3 months. Consider your typical day. Are you moving in the same patterns repeatedly, or are you introducing variety and occasional intensity to your physical activity? Your body's ability to look and feel decades younger depends on your answer. The world's longest-lived people don't follow complicated diets or count calories obsessively. What they do share is a pattern of eating that enhances metabolic flexibility. And it's almost the exact opposite of how most of us eat today. I met Rosa in a small coastal town in Japan, where she's lived for all of her 92 years. Despite her age, she has the skin elasticity of someone in their 60s and moves with the ease of someone much younger. I've never followed a special diet, she told me, but I've always eaten with the seasons, sometimes more, sometimes less. What Rosa intuitively practices is what scientists now call metabolic switching, alternating between periods of eating and not eating between different types of foods based on availability. This pattern keeps her cells responsive and adaptive rather than rigidly dependent on constant fuel. The research is striking. Studies from the National Institute on Aging show that varying your eating patterns, both what you eat and when you eat, activates longevity pathways that remain dormant with consistent, round-the-clock feeding. Your cells actually become more efficient at producing energy and repairing damage. This doesn't necessarily mean extreme fasting or restrictive diets. Even simple practices can make a profound difference. Occasionally extending the time between dinner and breakfast to 14 to 16 hours, varying the amount you eat from day to day, rather than maintaining rigid consistency. Incorporating seasonal foods that naturally change the profile of nutrients you consume, periodically reducing protein intake for a few days to trigger cellular renewal. When we feed our bodies the exact same amount at the exact same times every day, we're training our metabolic systems to be inflexible, the very opposite of what helps us maintain youthful function as we age. Think about your own eating patterns. Have you trained your body to expect the same foods in the same amounts at the same times every day? Or are you building resilience through strategic variability? The difference could add decades of health to your life. One of the most overlooked aspects of staying biologically young is something our ancestors didn't have the luxury to ignore: temperature adaptability. Today we live in climate-controlled environments that keep us perpetually comfortable and inadvertently accelerate aging. I was fascinated by my conversation with Dr. Susanna Soberg, who studies cold exposure at the University of Copenhagen. She showed me scans of adipose tissue from 2 65-year-old men with identical BMIs. The first, who had avoided temperature discomfort his entire life, had fat tissue that looked biologically old. The second, who regularly experienced temperature variations, had fat tissue resembling that of someone decades younger. Temperature challenge is one of the most powerful stimulators of mitochondrial biogenesis, she explained. In simple terms, exposing yourself to varying temperatures, particularly cold, triggers your body to create more cellular energy factories and improve their function. This is crucial because mitochondrial decline is one of the hallmarks of aging. You don't need to become a polar plunge enthusiast to benefit. Research shows that even mild temperature challenges can have profound effects. Taking a 30-second cold shower at the end of your regular shower, keeping your home a few degrees cooler in winter, allowing yourself to feel warm during summer rather than blasting air conditioning, taking brief walks outside in various weather conditions without bundling up excessively. I implemented these practices myself 2 years ago, and the results were remarkable. Not only did my energy improve, but my recovery from exercise accelerated, and several colleagues commented that my skin looked more vibrant. What's happening is that temperature variability activates brown fat, a metabolically active tissue that burns energy rather than storing it. Most of us lose active brown fat as we age, but research shows we can regenerate it through strategic temperature challenges, preserving a more youthful metabolic profile. Consider your daily environment. Are you living in a temperature bubble that's slowly diminishing your body's adaptability? Or are you strategically introducing the beneficial stress of temperature variation? The people who look decades younger than their age almost universally embrace the latter. Your brain ages just like your body does, but the people who maintain youthful minds into their 80s and beyond share a fascinating characteristic. They regularly subject their brains to beneficial stress through learning and novelty. I'll never forget interviewing Paolo, an 86-year-old former accountant who speaks 5 languages, plays 3 instruments, and recently learned to code. "People think I do these things because I'm sharp," he told me with a laugh, "but I'm sharp because I do these things." The science supports Paolo's intuition. A landmark study from the University of California found that people regularly learn new skills, not just passive activities like puzzles, but truly challenging new abilities, maintain brain volumes comparable to people 30 years younger. What's happening on a cellular level is remarkable. Learning something challenging creates what neuroscientists call controlled stress in your neural networks. This activates support cells, called astrocytes, that clean, repair, and even regenerate neural pathways, essentially rejuvenating your brain tissue. This goes far beyond the common advice to do crossword puzzles. The key is genuine difficulty and novelty, learning a skill that feels uncomfortable and makes you aware of your limitations. Placing yourself in social situations that challenge your conversational abilities, attempting to understand perspectives radically different from your own, trying activities where you have no natural talent or prior experience. I saw this principle in action when I visited a retirement community in Minnesota that had implemented a reverse mentorship program, pairing seniors with teenagers who taught them everything from TikTok dances to modern slang. The seniors who participated showed measurably better cognitive function after just 3 months compared to those who didn't. The brain, much like muscle, operates on a use it or lose it principle, but with an important twist. It's not repetitive use that keeps it young, but adaptive use, learning that requires genuine effort and sometimes frustration. Ask yourself, when was the last time you truly struggled to learn something new? If it's been more than a few months, you might be missing one of the most powerful opportunities to maintain a youthful brain as you age. Now for the counterintuitive strategy I promised, the one that goes against most conventional wisdom about aging well. While everything I've shared so far involves beneficial stress, the missing piece that separates those who age exceptionally from everyone else is their relationship with deep recovery. I was stunned when I analyzed the daily patterns of centenarians across different blue zones. Despite their active lifestyles, they all incorporated significant periods of what researchers call profound rest, states of deep relaxation that activate the parasympathetic nervous system in ways that modern humans rarely experience. Maria, a vibrant 94-year-old in Greece, explained it to me this way: "Young people today are always a little bit stressed, even when they're resting. They're never fully active and never fully at rest. This is why they look old before their time." The research from Dr. Herbert Benson at Harvard supports this observation. His team found that people who regularly experience states of complete surrender, whether through meditation, prayer, or flow states, show remarkably different patterns of gene expression associated with longevity and reduced inflammation. This isn't about sleeping more, though quality sleep is essential. It's about regularly entering states where your body receives the signal that all is well, that it's safe to allocate resources to repair and regeneration rather than constant vigilance. The paradox is powerful. To age well, you need both hormetic stress and periods of profound rest. The combination creates a biological rhythm that maintains youthfulness far better than either would alone. Practices that create this state include meditation focused on complete surrender rather than controlling the experience, time in nature without productivity goals, social connections where you feel completely accepted, regular periods of undirected thought and daydreaming, the cease. Results can be dramatic. Our study of meditation practitioners in their 70s found biological markers of aging comparable to non-practitioners in their 50s, a difference of decades, not just years. Consider your own patterns. Do you oscillate between genuine challenge and complete rest? Or do you live in the gray zone, never fully engaging with beneficial stress and never fully surrendering to recovery? The people who look 50 at 80 have mastered this rhythmic alternation. We've covered the foundational principle of aging well, metabolic flexibility, and 6 practical strategies to cultivate it in your life: strategic physical challenge, nutritional resilience, temperature adaptability, cognitive flexibility, and the powerful paradox of stress and rest. The people who maintain youthful bodies and minds decades beyond their peers aren't beneficiaries of good luck or special genes. They're practitioners of a lifestyle that constantly expands their adaptability through beneficial stress followed by genuine recovery. What's most exciting about this approach is that it's never too late to start. Studies show that even people in their 90s can dramatically improve their metabolic flexibility by implementing these principles. Your body wants to be resilient. You just need to give it the right signals. Remember Eleanor, the 82-year-old hiker I mentioned at the beginning. She didn't begin her journey to exceptional aging until she was 65, after a health scare prompted her to change her approach. 17 years later, she's not just surviving, she's thriving in ways that amaze medical professionals. The choice is yours. Will you continue living in ways that make your body and mind increasingly rigid? Or will you embrace the principles of metabolic flexibility that can keep you biologically young regardless of your chronological age? The difference could be decades of vibrant, energetic living. If you found value in these insights, please hit the like button and share this video with someone who might benefit from understanding the true science of aging well. In the comments below, I'd love to hear which of these strategies you plan to implement first and why. Your perspective might inspire others in our community who are on the same journey. For more evidence-based approaches to living longer and better, subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. Next week, I'll be diving deeper into the science of nutritional resilience with some practical meal strategies you can implement immediately. If you're interested in a more personalized approach, check out the link in the description for my free metabolic flexibility assessment. It will help you identify your specific opportunities for improvement. Thank you for investing this time in your future health. Here's to looking and feeling 50 at 80, or even better.